Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind Sweden Season 2, Episode 3. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell and leave a comment down below. So we pick up with Karolina, who was supposed to run to Jakob as she promised. She did not run.
Gud vad vackert. Vi måste gå nu. Alltså, vi måste gå.
So she claims that she's fine. She's just very nervous. And I'm thinking, girl, if you were going to run anywhere, it's out of this room. It was not giving at all. And so Jakob was walking into this being like, oh, is she gonna like me? Is she not? And she says she likes tall, dark, and handsome. Now, every time we hear tall, dark, and handsome, I'm thinking, is it tall, dark, and handsome? Or a white person with dark hair? Because that confuses me every time. Yeah, he wasn't the tall, dark, and handsome that she was looking for. And I don't know if it's the tall, the dark, or the handsome, but she just wasn't feeling it. At the end of the reveal, she did get a little bit more comfortable and did a little dance at the door. But in her confessional, she was like, yeah, I get the sense that he's more into me than I am into him. Absolutely. And typically I would feel bad for the person who isn't getting that reciprocated interest back. But after the way that Jakob was acting in the pods, Oscar is now getting flirty with Alicia, and I'm thinking, this guy, he just sounds like bad news. Like, not super, super bad. There are so many more problematic people out there. Ola is one of them. Jakob is one of them. But I'm just like, y'all don't see the concern with Oscar? Anyways, he's also talking to Millie, and Millie is still ranking at #1 right now for him.
Men du, jag fattar helt att du har tvekat lite på mig innan. Jag går ut härifrån. Jag gifter mig med dig. Jag lägger in en stöt.
Ja, det kan man säga att du gör. Vad är grejen med att du bara säger allt jag vill höra?
Ja, men det är min röst.
Preach!
Ja, men det är grejen att den jag kommer satsa på är den som minst tycker om mig. Men jag känner bara att orkar inte spela 2 kort längre.
Du behöver inte ta något beslut exakt här och nu. Det har ändå varierat lite grann längs vägen.
Ja.
Var lite i det. Ifall du kan tillåta en dag till med 2.
The connection with Millie is still taking me off guard. I can't speak. I don't get it. Like I don't understand. Outside of them having like a sexual bond, like then what? And then they were talking about what their older family members would talk about love and whatever, but have y'all built a bond? I don't think so. But anyways, Oscar goes back to the guys' quarters and he's talking to Ola like, yeah, I'm conflicted. You know, I don't know who to pick. And why is Ola like, you know what? You should sleep on it. At first, I thought he was dirty macking. At first, I thought he was. But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't too foul of a play. I think people have done worse in the past before. But he's like, yeah, you know, you should sleep on it. I think he was trying to either give himself some time to come up with some kind of way that he could prove to Millie that he's all in. Or maybe he was really looking out for Oscar, because I haven't heard him say anything negative about the interaction between him and Oscar, or Oscar potentially going for Millie. It doesn't seem like it had malicious intent behind it. But I was either he wants to get in there before Oscar can get back to Millie, or he genuinely thinks that Oscar will overthink things and maybe focus more on Alicia. And that ends up being the case. So he has taken some time to think on things, and he's decided that Alicia is going to be the one he's going to pursue. Natalie says that Victor needs to get deeper because she's only used to seeing like the good, lighthearted side of him. And I'm thinking, aren't you the problem, girl? Wasn't he trying to get deep the other day and you was talking about I'm tired? And then y'all were talking about allergies. Like, Natalie, come on.
Jag har alltid haft väldigt bra självförtroende. Jag är väldigt driven och det är någonting som jag gillar väldigt mycket med mig själv. Och väldigt baserat mitt värde på hur jag presterar. Men tidigare har det varit så att det har kommit från att jag liksom varit väldigt självkritisk.
Absolut kommer stötta dig liksom i allt sådär. Nu när vi ändå skulle prata om brister, men det är ju ingen brist liksom. Det är ju någonting.
So she opens up about the fact that she tends to be quite critical about herself, and it stems from dealing with a close person in her life who dealt with addiction. We're not quite sure what kind of addiction or what the relationship with that person is, but she said it took a toll on her, and so she's very hesitant. She treads softly with people. I think she also said she's either in therapy or in a support group. I think she's in a support group. Then Victor opens up about being in a toxic relationship in 2022, I think it was. And this was the first time he had ever been in love. And so it being toxic took a toll on him. He lost a lot of weight. And he tends to want to be hesitant as well going into relationships. Even though him and Karen have a similar story, I was a little bit harsher on Karen because what are we then going to do after acknowledging the past? At least with Victor, he was like, this is how I process certain things. This is how I will feel safe in a relationship going forward. And that gave Natalie some perspective on how she could show up for Victor, and Victor feels loved and appreciated and not like he needs to run away. Whereas with Karen, it was just like, yeah, this is my past and I have this fear about going forward with you. Okay, well, give him tools on how to help you. And if you don't know what the tools are, that's probably a sign that you need to sit down and take a beat. Alicia decides that Tim is not the person for her. Obviously, he has not made it clear that he's going to be intentional about this process. So yeah, she definitely made the right decision. And she's also going to focus on Oscar the same way he's focusing on her.
Jag tyckte jättebra om henne, alltså, så att jag hade förmodligen gått hela vägen.
Jag har varit väldigt balanserad hittills. Men jag var inte det igår. Ja, verkligen första gången som jag känner att det är jobbigt på riktigt. Det är liksom en väldigt ovan situation. Det är aldrig någonting man gör. Alltså jag tyckte det var så jäkla jobbigt att dejta flera personer samtidigt. Fan vad fel jag är ute. Jag är så fel. First impression is last. Det är bara det jag vill fortsätta träffa.
What is with these guys and starting off the speech as if they're about to break up with you? Because I swear with Jakob and Karolina, it was similar. I was like, wait, I thought you were all in on this person. What's going on? But it was actually a speech of commitment. Just a little bit confusing. But anyways, definitely she made the right decision. Not because Oscar was sold on her, but because Tim wasn't. Tim was too much of a flight risk to want to invest in, and so she made the right decision in cutting that off. Now, it was a gamble because Oscar was on the fence for a little bit there, but you still got to stick true to your heart. Don't just go for somebody because you don't have any more options. Now, even though she made a good choice, I don't know if Oscar is a good person for her. I still have so many question marks about him. I definitely want to see what he's like on the outside. I think there's going to be trouble ahead dealing with Oscar. So Millie is back at the women's quarter just raving about her connection with Oscar. Ooh, man, you could see, what's her name? Alicia, she was cringing because she knows that a breakup is on the horizon.
Igår så kände jag mig så sedd och bekräftad att jag började gråta. Jag har insett att det är det jag ska ha. Jag vill inte förlora det. Det var så sexigt. Vad händer? Alltså det låter inte som att du är i ett good mood.
Pendlat väldigt mycket de senaste timmarna. Men jag har känt att mitt spår från första början med Alicia.
Shit.
Så jag var
alltså det är ju väldigt... Och jag var så redo att hänge mig.
Jag kände inte de köpsignalerna. Tack för alla fina stunder, Millie.
Hej då. Jag har blivit dumpad.
Nej.
Bara att han har liksom bedyrat sin kärlek för mig och så här.
Alltså jag tycker jättesynd om henne.
Millie was not happy with Oscar at all. She could not leave that room any quicker. The thing with Oscar and her is that he was going pretty full on with her. So I can see why she thought that there was more promise in their relationship than what he's now saying, right? And then he's going to say that initially he said, my connection with Alicia is so much stronger. You know, she's been pretty consistent from the beginning. I want to focus on her. But then when Millie questions their connection, because she's like, we've basically declared our strong feelings for each other, like what's the switch up now? He says it's because she wasn't as solid, or she didn't express that she was as solid in their connection as he was in her. And I'm thinking, well, which one is it? Is it the fact that Alicia was always the right choice? Or if Millie would have just been more affirmative? Why am I feeling like that's not a real word? No, it is. It is. It is. If Millie was more affirmative, maybe he would have gone to Millie. Yeah, I don't really know about that one. Millie comes out of the pods clearly distraught. She's venting to the women. Alicia is hearing all of this, but she's deciding to stay quiet because she doesn't want to make it seem like she's rubbing it in Millie's face. Like, oh, I got picked and you didn't. And I get that. No, I think I was going to say, but it would be nice if she would have said something even before now, like when she realized that Millie was pursuing Oscar, maybe they should have been sharing notes or something. But then again, if I was in that process, I don't know if I would want to share or would want my somebody else's connection with my connection shared with me. I don't know how I would want to navigate that, because I'm thinking maybe I just want to preserve the connection that I have. But also, if somebody is saying foul thing, or not foul things, but if somebody is doing foul play, saying the same things to me and to somebody else, I think I'd want to know. So yeah, maybe Millie would have been less blindsided if Alicia said something, but she's closing her mouth. Oscar speaks to Ola, who is very happy that Oscar has now fully committed to Alicia, because now he has the green light to pursue Millie completely.
Det har varit en tuff dag.
Jag har förstått det. Det är ju sånt som påverkar oss, som påverkar alla ganska mycket. Ifall du skulle vilja ha natten och sova och att vi skulle ses imorgon.
Det fina med Ola är att han har gett mig tid.
Ola says what he's looking for from Millie is for her to be present with him. How could she be present with you if you steal all the air in the room? Like, this man hasn't allowed her to the space to get vulnerable. Like, he has been on this whole healing journey, this self-exploration. They haven't really developed their relationship much. And then I'm looking at Millie like, girl, what is going on? Because she turns around and she's like, yeah, Ola's the one for me because he affirms me in this way and that way, and he's allowed me to feel safe in our relationship, and he's always been about me, and I love that he's been, serious from the beginning. The same man who the other day she was saying, oh, blah, 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 about whatever he was talking about in the pods. Now he affirms you. Now he's been consistent. Now he's the person who you want to be betrothed to. He eventually proposes. She says yes. And I'm looking at Millie like, it's giving you just want somebody, anybody. Either you just want somebody or you just want to be on the show. Or maybe you want to stick around long enough to see Oscar on the outside. I don't know. It just looks a little bit fishy with Millie. So we have a few more proposals. Oscar proposes to Alicia, but this is after she questioned him about why he was so affirming in his conversations with Millie. He says that he wanted to give himself a proper try and put himself completely out there. If it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think that was a good save, but I would keep my eye out on him for sure. But yeah, he proposes and she says yes. Then Victor proposed to Natalie. He said that he had a dream before the proposal where his teeth were falling out and his mom was on an elevated platform or something and he wasn't sure what it meant. I've had the teeth falling out thing too. And I'm not sure what it means. Let me ask. Hey Siri, what does it mean when you have a dream about your teeth falling out? Recent loss or grief. Oh, is it? Jealousy, increased stress, lack of control, big life changes. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons. As for the mom being on an elevated platform, Ola thinks that it's because Victor holds his mom to a high regard. He puts her on a pedestal in his life, which kind of makes sense. And then if we're to go with the life change theory of the teeth falling out, maybe this is the time, this is Ola's depiction, maybe this is the time for Victor to cut the umbilical cord. And I think that theory makes sense, honestly, because the way this man was like, oh, she's just like my mom in this way, and she's just like my sister in this way. Sweetie, irrelevant. How is she compatible with you? Make the decision for you. It would be great if they get along, but they don't need to be similar to get along. And even if they don't get along, if that person is your person, me personally, I feel like throw caution to the wind. You go with who you're supposed to be with, not who is just like your mother. The first reveal is between Alicia and Oscar. Oscar is scared that Alicia might not find him attractive, but she does. Very much so, actually.
So I'll reach a little further.
Du får liksom stå kvar här ett tag.
Ingen tror sig på mig.
Kom, lägg upp den för sådär.
Nej. Varför det?
Så. Alicia är mer än min drömkvinna.
Han är absolut min typ. Nästan skrämmande min typ.
So she didn't say much at all during the reveal, and I was thinking, girl, do you like him? I don't know. But then she was very like physically affectionate with him immediately. She didn't have to be asked or nothing. Like, you know, sometimes it kind of feels like the guy's initiating a lot. Like, she wrapped her arms around him. She even told him that she was commando. I said, oh, she likes him. She likes him. No girl's gonna joke about that unless you're trying to be cheeky with a man that you like. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, oh, you are incredibly gorgeous or something like that. And she still didn't say anything. So I was like, Alicia, what's good? Maybe she just struggles to express interest in somebody, because in the confessional, she says that he is more than her type. Like, that is exactly to the T who she'd want to be with. So I'm like, why didn't you tell him that? It would have been nice for him to hear. But either way, it's good that they both have the mutual desire for each other. The last reveal is between Victor and Natalie. I initially was like, oh my gosh, this is like one of the more natural reveals. This is very nice. Little did I know, it wasn't as nice as it looked.
Detsamma, du är jättefin.
Så gott.
Så detsamma, du är jättefin. Vi ses snart igen. Nej, men det kändes lite konstigt. Det känns lite som en främling när man ser personen.
So before Natalie even said what she said, I wrote down, they look good together, but the vulnerability aspect is lacking. And I'm intrigued to see how day-to-day life goes, because they don't really know each other. Then Natalie goes into the little like pod space and she's like, this felt very wrong. He felt like a stranger to me. And I'm thinking, yeah, no, duh. You guys haven't really gotten that deep. You haven't been super vulnerable with each other in the way that other couples have been. They've had their moments here and there, but in terms of like really building a bond to where you can see if this person is who you want to marry, I don't think that they've done that. So it's no surprise that Natalie feels like he's a stranger. He is a stranger. You don't know this man for real? Basically, they've had conversations that you could have with somebody on the bus. Okay, your commute to work every day, you'd probably have a deeper connection than these two have. So yeah, I'm not surprised she feels the way that she feels. Hopefully it can grow. I'm not sure if she's attracted to him, but I would assume the attraction is mutual. Like, maybe it isn't, because, you know, who you think somebody would be attracted to isn't always the case. I feel like she would be attracted to him, but if she feels odd about the encounter, maybe the attraction is also playing a part. So we'll see what happens there. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.